And
I think Papa wanted to take those
oh,
trips
okay.
anyways. It's just, I'm
Just
sure
to see
she's
his
glad
friends and
that we
everything.
went. Tell me about the trip to Vegas, the first trip, because I remember that too. What
I
did you?
remember we went and I don't know if it was the first trip or whatever trip, but I remember we went and saw Liberace one time, and we all went to dinner, and we went with the Paul Chen and this other family, the father and mother of Julian and Adrian, which are two boys. And anyway, they served us some kind of chicken with wine, and one by one, we all got sick. We all threw up, except me. And then by the time we got home, um, I was the last one to throw up. So I guess it was something in that chicken.
I thought it was Natha that was the last one.
No, it was me. I was the last one to throw up. Everybody had thrown up before we had come back home.
Do you remember who threw up first?
I think it was Nornie or Nut. I think it was one of the twins who threw up first. The twins were always getting sick, so I just don't remember anymore.
What was Liberace like?
Oh, it was fun. It was fun.
I remember there being a buffet at
Yeah, there was a
Circus.
buffet at Circus Circus. They had a lot of really good macaroni and cheese. I think they still serve the same things 20 years after.
Do you think it was really the wine that made everybody sick, or do you think it was food poisoning?
Oh, well, who knows? Who knows? Papa didn't get sick, I don't think. So I'm thinking it might have been the wine. I mean, if it was food poisoning, shouldn't he have gotten sick too?
Maybe. Um, so, okay. Tell me about, let's see. Did you feel that mom and papa were overprotective?
Yes.
Did you feel sheltered, and in what way?
I felt sheltered in that I couldn't just do anything I wanted to do like all my other friends did. I couldn't take this trip to Big Bear, which was like a big sixth grade thing. I had to stay behind. I don't think we were allowed to ride bikes because it was thought that, we might injure ourselves. And I just thought that we were kind of like weaklings when it came to physical outdoorsy stuff. Um, I don't know. But you know what? Now, knowing what I know now about what happens to kids these days and what happened to kids those days that we were growing up, I'm kind of glad that we we were sheltered because I don't know. Our childhoods might have been different if we hadn't been so sheltered. If we had been allowed to go to anybody's house that we wanted to in the neighborhood, I don't know. We might have had different experiences. So I mean, it wasn't that bad actually.
Did you feel different from other kids because you were Chinese? And
I never thought I was Chinese really until I started junior high because we didn't speak Chinese at home. We didn't have a Chinese last name. Um, anytime anybody ever asked me what nationality I was, I always said Thai because I was born there and I had a Thai last name and I spoke Thai. Um, I felt a little bit different, but then there were a lot of Asians in our community, weren't there? There were a lot of Koreans, there were some Vietnamese, some Chinese, so we weren't the only Asians. We were pretty much, like one of a handful of Thai families, but we had sprinkles of everything in our neighborhood. Although it was mostly white, I mean, we had Hispanic and Armenian and Asian and stuff like that. So it wasn't like we were the only Chinese or Asian family in the neighborhood.
tell me about grade school.
Grade school was at Mark Keppel um, Elementary, and I went there from second grade from Miss Loschke's class. I think you had her too, didn't you? From Mrs. Loschke's class up until sixth grade, which was Mrs. Hoffman. And I just remember grade school being very stable. It was the same principal throughout my years at grade school, Mr. Morse, really strict guy. I don't remember any controversies or anything, any big changes. It was just a very stable environment. All the teachers had stayed there for a long time. Everybody knew each other. There were PTAs. There were parents who volunteered to monitor during the recesses and all that stuff. No danger, no controversy, not that I knew of. So just run of the mill, run of the mill elementary school.
Did you go to school in Thailand
I think I went to like nursery school. I was barely learning the ABCs. I don't think I was, because I was 4 when I left. I wasn't even 5 years old yet. So I'm thinking that the only thing I really experienced was nursery school. I know that I went to school because I've seen a photo of me in a Thai school uniform. And I remember having to take a nap in the middle of the day and having having a pajamas uniform with my name printed on it. So I know I went to school for a little bit, but I can't imagine it was anything after nursery school.
too? Do you have any just early memories of Thailand? Do you remember Thailand at all?
I remember going to Bajong's house. Bajong was a friend of the family, and I saw her not too long. I saw her the last time we went to Hong Kong, which was, I guess, in 1997. Oh no, the last time we went to Thailand, which was in 1997, which is where she's living now. Um, but Bajong was like supposedly a good friend of the family who had a house in the country or just outside of Bangkok or something, where you had to go outside to get to the kitchen. I remember there were dogs. I remember they used to always make dumplings in the kitchen. I remember there were swamps and things like that around her house, and we would just play around and stuff. I remember that part. We would go to her house every once in a while, I guess.
Did you know that we're moving to America when you were a kid?
No, I had no idea. Nope. Because I remember we were on planes a lot anyway. We would, I don't know. I remember visiting our grandparents in Hong Kong. I just remember being on the plane quite a bit, like between 3 years old and maybe 7 years old, just constantly being on planes. I remember from an early age I wasn't scared of planes because I was on so many of them. It's all just a big blur of just a lot of trips. But I didn't know that we were going to America. The only memory that I had about anything American was one time um, we were, Jack, me, and Natha were outside our Bangkok apartment, and we were, I guess, getting some candy from the the candy truck, and somebody gave Jack some money, and he said thank you, and we asked him what does that mean in Thai, and he says, "Oh, uh, that means ขอบคุณครับ" in Thai, and he's like, that's what they say, that's how they say it in English, and I said, "Oh, what's English?" I didn't know what that was, but I think that was my earliest memory of the concept of English or the concept of something American or foreign or whatever.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So when you started school, did you know any English?
No, I didn't. I remember Natha knew some English because I guess she was older than me and maybe she had gone to school a little bit longer. So at the very beginning, they actually put me in with Natha in her, I think it was in her kindergarten class. And I remember I didn't know English, so that's why I think it was either Papa or Mama or both of them deciding that I should stay with Natha instead of being out by myself, I guess in nursery school or something. And I remember I didn't know English because I remember one time the teacher asked me to bring her keys, specifically the word keys, and I didn't know what that meant. But Natha did, and she did what the teacher said. So I remember I didn't know what that word meant, keys, until later on.
How long were you in school with Natha?
I have no idea. I'm assuming it was maybe an entire year or 6 months. Who knows? You have to ask Papa. But I know it was at this school that's not too far from here now, called Wilton Place. It's a school in Koreatown, I believe.
Oh.
That's where it was. And I remember Natha had a teacher. I don't know what grade it was, but Nata had a teacher whose last name was Yamamoto.
So is that where you learned English?
I guess so. I don't remember learning English.